What's up, guys? Back with another Marvel Legends review, and it's there we go. It's the Marvel Legends Infinity Saga SURTUR. Now, I actually started wanting this guy after all the pre-orders had been sold out, so I just kind of considered him a lost cause. But then, to my luck, I happened to be awake when he went live on Target's website, and so I snagged one. I was not expecting that, and I feel really lucky and really happy to actually get him. I mean, he looks so cool! Although it will be interesting trying to review him, because he is bigger than my studio, just like the Halo Mantis I just reviewed, so, I mean, talk about coincidence, right? Back-to-back supersized figures. But whatevs, let's go and bust him open and get this review started. Alright, now starting with the box front, this guy is big. I'm really digging this Infinity Saga logo though. And I like the artwork on the side as well. They definitely made this a collector's item. Here's the top, and then the back here looks really nice. I like this matte finish right here. It looks super just nice. It feels nice too. There's the wording. Here's an awesome poster of Thor Ragnarok. It's nice and glossy too. I may just cut this out like I do the McFarlane figures and just keep that as like a mini poster. And here's the bottom with the UPC, although at this point you probably know where he is. And there he is, guys, the Marvel Legends actually, there we go, now he's in frame. The Marvel Legends Infinity Saga SURTUR, out of package. And of course, don't forget his hand accessories and his huge sword. I mean, look at that thing. This is like a bread knife or something, or a butter knife, or a really cool letter opener actually. Definitely take a closer look at this later. But man, this guy is just so big. Even sitting down, he's still taller than your average Marvel Legends, which is crazy. Hey, who took my shield? But anywho, let's go and take a closer look at this super awesome figure. Now, just as a heads up, if you see any wet spots, not shininess, but actual wet spots, it's because I washed him before I continued the review, because he was completely soaked in that mold release, so he was just slimy and it felt like holding a nasty frog, so definitely cleaned him off first. But anywho, let's go and take a closer look. Seriously, who took my shield? That's not cool. Alright, now starting with the head, nice and close up, we get incredible sculpting detail all the way around. You can see some kind of ripples, and it looks almost like a skeleton spine going through the top of his head right here. Get a better view of that, it's so big. See that kind of spine looking thing right there? Don't know, it's kind of hard to see. But anywho, I really like the paint as well. They really give him that kind of flame look and everything, and just look at the sculpting on that face. Whoo! Especially look at this mouth here. It looks like they made the mouth kind of two pieces. They just molded this mouth, probably made it hollow, then made the teeth separately and just stuck that right in there, which is pretty awesome, pretty ingenious too. Then you have his horns here, which are really nicely sculpted, and they're nice and soft too, so you don't have to worry about poking your eyes out or having them break on you if you drop the figure, heaven forbid, or hell. But anyways, it's glued on nice and strong right there, so it should stay on pretty easily. Worst case scenario, it pops off, you just glue it back on. I do really like how they have the point right here. You know, usually they kind of round off these type of edges for these type of figures just to make them safe. Quote. But this one, they went all out McFarlane style, so definitely happy about that. And one thing really cool about him too is his head does pop off. Now when you're popping it off, be very aware of where your fingers are and where your pressure points are, so you don't rip the horns off with him. But anyways, you can pop the head off. It's super easy, just a regular ball right there, actually really tiny compared to the figure. But since you can pop his head off, you can just kind of display it, and just, you know, kind of almost like Thor Ragnarok when he had him displayed in Odin's chambers. Wait, chambers or like museum? I forget what it's called. You know what I mean. Look, it's my friend from work. Unfortunately, he wasn't very headstrong. Or he was in over his head. Get out of here, Thor, with your stupid jokes. And moving into the body, the fiery awesomeness continues. Just look at that sculpt. It almost gets just kind of disappears actually with all that kind of shininess and all the paint, as you can see, just burnt chariness and everything, which is so nice. These little pieces right here are actually glued on, as you can see, so hopefully they don't fall off, especially this one. That would be really sad. But man, just look at that. You even see some ribs there. They actually painted it to kind of mold with the body, which is really nice. Just look at all that detail. Pretty solid plastic as well. And what's nice is the detail actually goes all the way in, as you can see. Man, it's so hard to reveal him because it's so big. But it goes all the way in, so even if you articulate him, there we go, you still get that detail. He's very photocentric in that sense. Look at the detail. Still goes there when you bend him. Same thing there. Whew. Man, this is awesome. And then, of course, his arm continues. That awesome burnt shari sculpting right there. Looking really, really nice. Inside here is kind of weird. There's not as much paint. There is more here, so I guess in theory you could just say, like, you know, it's just starting to cool off on the edges. That's why it's kind of, you know, darker, you know, just like real lava and all that stuff. Here's his hands here, nice and soft. He's got the little kind of claws going on there. Very soft material for the hands there, which is great, so you don't have to worry about them snapping. Although one thing that's kind of a bummer is with his arms here, this little piece kind of glued on too as well, is that unlike other Marvel Legends, they're usually soft and you kind of pull down on the shoulder and then kind of pop it in to overcome whatever, you know, high point they have right here. But this guy, I don't know if it's just mine, but he is just so solid you can't do that, and it just gets stuck on the sculpting right there. There's really no way around it, so that's kind of unfortunate. Same thing with this side right there, so you can't really raise his arms. The only option would be just kind of do like that and then rotate it, so that's kind of a bummer, unless I'm missing something, I don't know. But a plus is he is a pinless figure. As you can see, no pinholes whatsoever, not even on the legs or the ankles. And I do like how they made the joint here. It's very smooth and form-fitting, and it just looks right, although he has all the oh wait, I'll save it for the articulation. And then of course, moving into the legs, we get some more awesome, just crazy fiery lava sculpting right there. Crazy paint job. It really starts to, you can start to see where that kind of $50 price point came from. And although it's a very expensive figure, I think they made him worth the money. Take a look at his feet right there. Even that looks pretty awesome. No claws though. I was kind of surprised. I thought he'd have claws on his feet, but oh well. And then there's the bottom with some of the legal jumbo. But anywho, as for articulation, his head does rotate in a full circle, but it does kind of get stuck on those little soft pieces. You can overcome it if you want, but I mean, what's the point? Because if he rotates his head that far back, he's probably dead or deader. Anyways, he looks that far up, that far down, not too much because that ball joint, although it looks great for the neck sculpt, it does limit the articulation. And of course his head does go nice and side to side like so, so that is a plus. And then the arm rotates in a full circle. Shoulder joint is like, what? Is it even there? And he's got the bicep swivel that goes in a circle as well. That's kind of hard because of the shoulder joint. Then you got the double jointed pinless elbow right there. Then you got the hands here, and then it has pivot joints each. Then you got the torso, which is double jointed, which I really like. You can turn them that much that way. And what's nice is if you exclude this other pivot, you can still go pretty decent far forward and back without it, but when you include it, you can go really far back and really far forward, which is nice. And of course it pivots at the top here. It's nice and rounded, so it looks a bit more realistic when he's turning, which I really like the way they did this joint here. And then as for the legs, they go that far forward, not very far back at all. Although one very important thing that I like is that the legs have a click adjustment, as you can see, which is very important for a big heavy figure like this, so that when you pose him, he doesn't just go. And of course he's got the thigh swivel. Then he has a double jointed knee, which have high friction, as you can see right there, so that should hold him up nicely. I'm not sure if it's just mine or if that's standard on all, but definitely lots of friction, nice and squeezed. And then he's got a spinning ankle right there, and his foot goes forward and back, and the ankle pivots as well, and it's got some very nice clicks, as you can see, so that should hold its place as well. And then for accessories, he comes with two hands here, one open claw and then one fist, although I would have liked to see two open claw hands, because I mean, fists or whatever, they're boring, but open claws are awesome. Wish we had two. And then of course the Twilight Sword, the mother of all accessories, aka the Sword of Doom, or the Elder's Stall. Oh, look at that. I just had to read it correctly. Anywho, it's got lots of nice details, and it's almost just like a figure all by itself. Just look at all those waves and patterns into it. It's a nicely sculpted sword through and through. It looks like it's molded in this clear plastic and they painted over it, but they did a great job painting, and it's got a nice stiffness to it still, so it just holds its shape, which is awesome. And it's just so big, it feels almost like those kind of role play toys, you know what I mean? Just look at that. And like I said, you could use this as a letter opener if you want, or I mean, it's stiff enough you could probably cut some cucumbers or carrots or something like that. Or if your kids are misbehaving or something like that, you can use it as a discipline tool. Just kind of get, oh wow, that hurt more than I thought it would. Let's try the other side. Oh dang, it's all red. Woo! Actually, full disclosure, that's not from one hit. That was more like 6 or 7 hits right there. I was just trying to get the perfect take, so it really kind of just started getting red there, you know, because, you know, try to make a good joke and suffer for your craft. Although now that I think about it, it wasn't really that great of a joke, so I just have a rash for no reason now. But anywho, here he is holding his sword, and man, it is just massive in his hand. It's just, that is an ultimate sword. Almost reminds me of, like, you know, Cloud Strife's sword in Final Fantasy VII, so that's pretty cool. Oh, in case you're wondering, the weight of the sword is heavy, but the joint for the most part can hold it up. It'll droop like maybe a couple, as you can see right there, like a couple millimeters, but for the most part it just holds its place, which is actually quite impressive considering how heavy the sword is. So it's definitely a well-made joint, and I guess a well-balanced sword. And now for some comparisons. Here he is next to some Marvel Legends, Thor Ragnarok, and rock and roll figures. As you can see, he's not to scale with the intro of the movie, and definitely not to scale with the end of the movie. But if I remember correctly, I think it was Ryan or Dan that said that after they get to a certain height, the cost just starts getting ridiculous, so they had to kind of cut him off right there. Which, for those wondering, is a very solid 13 inches, if you can see that right there. But if you happen to have a 3.75 inch figure, here's my Jazzwares World of Halo Marine stand-in. It's now perfectly in scale with the size SURTUR was at the beginning of the movie. So if you happen to be lucky and bought one of those 3.75 inch basic figures from Thor Ragnarok at that time, then you're all set. Unfortunately, I don't have that. And if you happen to have the Super Impulse Super Tiny Micro Action figures here, here's Duke from G.I. Joe. As you can see, he's now actually kind of to scale with the end movie version of SURTUR. So if you just whip out a paintbrush and make him look like Thor, you're once again all set. I do have paintbrushes, just not painting skills. And here he is next to some other Marvel Legends, including Captain Shang-Chi. Hey, my shield! Whoop, gotta go. And here he is next to the World of Halo Mantis, which I just reviewed. He's actually still bigger, although the Mantis is adjustable. And finally, here he is next to Red Hulk, Monster Venom, Apocalypse Thanos, my now empty wallet, and the bird. Whoop! Well guys, overall I really like this figure, if it wasn't obvious already. And on a side note, starting up YouTube again has reminded me just how fun toy collecting can be. Although I'm still going to keep it casual, and if I can't find a figure that I want, then whatever, passing on it is fine too. And hopefully the views that I do get can at the very least offset the cost of the figures that I end up getting. Or better yet, when I start job hunting in September, hopefully I find something good that can pay for the build and the toys. So wish me luck. And job ideas as well, because I really don't know what job to get with my newly acquired bachelor's in business, because with a degree like that the options are kind of endless. In marketing class they call that choice overload, which is actually not good. Although I would really love to have a job in the film industry or anything to do with filmmaking, because I'm kind of doing it right now. But anywho, I did get a bunch of new figures, one of which being the Endgame Smash Thor. If you follow me on my Instagram, you've already seen this and know why it's all smashed. Hashtag Walmart. So I think what I'll probably do now is just like review new figures when they come out as I get them, and during the downtime, off season so to speak, when there's nothing that I really want or can find, then I'll whip out the skits and other stuff, of course. But I still say no to being first to the key. Just no more of that. If I happen to be first, then like the Spider-Man figures, cool. If not, I don't care. But anywho, stay tuned next for the Infinity Saga Thor, or actually there's a Shang-Chi video I might want to do first. Not sure yet. Oh well, either way, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video, whatever that may be. Peace.